Support for this podcast comes from the St. Alphonsus Neuroscience Institute, offering technology to provide treatment for neurological, neurosurgical, and neurointerventional conditions. This includes a dedicated neurotrauma ICU for critical care of the brain or spine and a 24/7 stroke team. More at stalphonsus.org.
Boise State Public Radio News celebrates the Winter Olympiad in Milan Cortina. There are 232 U.S. Olympians this year competing in 116 events across 16 different sports. NPR is covering the games in Italy and giving context to the world event now through February 22nd. Learn more about what's new this year and follow Team USA with NPR's 2026 Winter Olympics coverage at boisestatepublicradio.org.
From Boise State Public Radio, this is The Connector. It's Idaho's Daily News. Good morning. I'm George Prentice. Badger, a police dog, made an appearance before lawmakers at the Capitol on Wednesday. Plus, one lawmaker wants more government oversight over refugee resettlement programs. It is Thursday, the 19th of February. Here we go with today's stories. Further budget cuts to Idaho's public defense system could leave it exposed to another lawsuit, that according to its top lawyer. James Dawson reports.
The Idaho Supreme Court is currently reviewing a case against the State Public Defender's Office brought by the ACLU of Idaho. It says in 2024, the state left clients waiting for days or weeks in jail without an attorney, violating their constitutional rights. Since then, Idaho's chief public defender Eric Fredrickson says he's hired more full-time staff and is contracting with outside lawyers. On Wednesday, he told the Joint Finance and Appropriations Committee that further budget cuts would mean fewer outside attorneys to lower staff caseload.
What that overflow does is it reduces the workload of our attorneys, and as everybody in this room knows, one of the big issues in the lawsuit is workload.
JFAC already cut more than $100 million from next year's budget, though Republican leaders say the committee could restore some funding later this session. James Dawson, Boise State Public Radio News.
At the Capitol, a new bill that would grant the state oversight of nonprofits that work with families that are officially, through the federal government, resettled into the United States and ultimately resettled to Idaho.
We've been running these programs for roughly 50 years in Idaho, but none of the key organizations that are doing this work have any place in Idaho code. A lot of people would be interested to find out that these very official sounding names, such as the Idaho Office for Refugees, is actually a private nonprofit.
This is GOP State Senator Brian Lenny of Nampa.
If you're doing this type of work in our state, you're required to answer to the state that's absorbing your placement. So it's just an audit for information that they would give to the legislature every year of what they're doing, where the people are coming from, where the money's, just an information audit that would take place annually.
The Senate State Affairs Committee agreed to give the proposal a full public hearing. For the record, in fiscal year 2025, the Idaho Office for Refugees welcomed 468 refugees from 20 countries to Idaho. More than 70% of refugee arrivals in the U.S. obtain citizenship after 10 years of arrival. That goes up to 90% after 20 years of arrival. Under Idaho law, physically harming or killing a police dog or horse is a felony. A new bill under consideration by the legislature would give canine officers trained to find electronic storage devices the same protections as other police dogs. Julie Lucata tells us all about it.
Badger, an enthusiastic black lab, joined Idaho's Internet Crimes Against Children unit last March. On Tuesday, he visited the state legislature with his handler, investigator Lauren Lane. She testified in front of the House Judiciary Committee to include protections for dogs trained to smell certain types of electronics.
They are trained to detect that compound, triphenylphosphine oxide, that's sprayed on circuit boards to prevent overheating. It's a unique scent that is only located in electronic storage devices.
Trained canines like Badger can smell the compound even when buried or underwater and are used to search for devices that may contain child sexual abuse material.
These can include things like flash drives, cell phones, air tags, hidden cameras, and other such things. I have been partnered with ESD Canine Badger since March of 2025, and we've been deployed on 37 search warrants.
Lane reported Good Boy Badger was able to locate devices that were either missed by investigators or hidden by suspects on about half of those search warrants. The bill was unanimously sent to the floor for further consideration. Julie Luqueta, Boise State Public Radio News.
There's a special meeting later today of the McCall City Council. And while, yes, it is mid-February, the sole topic for today's session is their city's 4th of July celebration. Years ago, McCall's 4th of July festivities saw an increase in underage drinking and criminal activity. A decade ago, the city started calling their celebration the Lakeside Liberty Fest. They put in alcohol restrictions, but according to the McCall Police Department, there has been, quoting here, a substantial increase in criminal activity over the last few years. So this evening, the McCall City Council will be asked to fund $5,000 for new perimeter fencing for the 4th of July event, but also a $25,000 investment in private security to work with law enforcement to help deter crime during McCall's Independence Day festivities. This evening's special meeting of the McCall City Council gets underway at 5:30. And that is today's episode of The Connector. I'm George Prentice. Say, if you have a moment, go to our website, boisestatepublicradio.org. At the top, you'll see a big banner in regards to an exclusive collaboration between Boise State Public Radio and Kin, the restaurant Kin. It is the very definition of exclusive. Check it out. In the meantime, to you, thanks for listening.
Hi, it's Terry Gross, host of Fresh Air. Hey, take a break from the 24-hour news cycle with us and listen to long-form interviews with your favorite authors, actors, filmmakers, comedians, and musicians, the people making the art that nourishes us and speaks to our times. So listen to the Fresh Air podcast from NPR and WHYY.